Henry Ford biography. Henry Ford's story changed everything. It all began in the year 1863 in a small farmhouse in Michigan. Here, a curious boy was born, Henry Ford. From a young age, he hated the hard farm work and dreamed of machines, wheels, and speed. The boy loved playing with his handmade wooden wheel toy, rolling it across the fields. As he looked at the horses pulling his father's farm equipment, he dreamed of faster, more efficient ways to get things done. "I will build a motor car for the great multitude," he promised himself. This dream would shape his destiny. Young Henry was fascinated by machines, clocks, engines, and anything with moving parts. At age 12, he began working in a local shop to earn money to buy parts for his inventions. He tinkered with engines and built his first quadricycle when he was 15. After studying mechanical drawing and machining for 2 years, he got a job as an engineer in Detroit, fixing and improving steam engines. But his goal remained constant: build an affordable motor car. In 1896, Henry co-founded the Ford Motor Company with partners. 2 years later, they produced their first quadricycle. It wasn't long before people heard rumors of a new car company in town. The company started growing quickly and soon had over 1,000 employees. The first product they launched, the Model A, sold well beyond their expectations. Soon they were turning out over 100 cars per day, and sales continued to grow. But Henry knew he could do better. He wanted to make a car accessible to everyone, not just the wealthy. So he shared his vision with the world. Henry Ford's vision -1902. He told his audience, "I will build a motor car for the great multitude, constructed of the best materials by the best men after the simplest designs modern engineering can devise, so low in price that no man making a good salary will be unable to own one." At the time, it sounded crazy, but with sheer determination, he made it happen. In 1908, Ford unveiled the Model T, simple, rugged, and affordable. It was the car that changed everything. By 1921, Ford owned 60% of the world's car market. The Model T was more than a car. It was the symbol of progress and the American dream. So how did he achieve this success? The answer lies in this one word: mass production. With the introduction of the moving assembly line, car manufacturing became faster, cheaper, and more efficient than ever before. And Henry didn't stop there. He changed the way workers were treated. On October 1st, 1908, Ford announced a historic change that shook the world, doubling the daily wage for workers to $5. This was unheard of at the time. Workers couldn't believe their ears. $5 a day. Who even dreamed of such a thing? This meant they could afford a decent home, food, and clothing for their families. No more living paycheck to paycheck. No more struggling to make ends meet. It was a game changer. Then came the next big surprise. Ford shortened the work hours from 10 to 8 a day. Can you imagine the relief and happiness this brought to workers? They now had more time for themselves, their families, and their hobbies. It was like a dream come true. But wait, there's more. Ford also gave them to full days off every week, Saturday afternoons and Sundays. It was revolutionary. No more working around the clock. No more 7-day stretches without a break. Workers could now rest, recharge, and return to work feeling refreshed and ready to give their best. And that's not all. Ford implemented paid vacations, sick leave, and medical insurance for workers. These benefits had never been seen before. Workers were blown away by these perks. They felt valued, respected, and appreciated. They knew they worked for a company that cared about their well-being. The benefits extended beyond financial rewards. Workers enjoyed free meals, athletic facilities, and recreational activities. It was like being part of a family. They formed lifelong bonds with their colleagues, creating memories that lasted a lifetime. This might be hard to believe, but the benefits and innovations didn't stop there. There was even a retirement plan. Yes, you heard it right. Ford believed in taking care of its workers even after they retired. He introduced pensions for senior employees, ensuring they had something to fall back on when it was time to hang up their tools. It was groundbreaking, but what truly set Ford apart was the emphasis on safety. He prioritized worker safety above all else. He said, "A man isn't hurt by an accident. Accidents don't happen. A man has an accident because some rule or regulation has been violated." He reduced workplace accidents by 90%. In 1914, Ford shocked the world by doubling his workers' wages to $5 a day. Unheard of then, changing labor forever. The workers were overjoyed. Their loyalty and dedication grew. They took pride in their work and the company's success. It was a win-win situation. But how did Ford manage to pay higher wages while keeping prices low? The answer lies in efficiency. He cut unnecessary costs, standardized parts, and streamlined production. This saved money that could be reinvested in the business and, most importantly, in the workers. It was a brilliant move. As the years passed, Ford's popularity soared. People from all walks of life bought Model Ts. It became a common sight on roads around the world. Farmers used them to transport their crops. Factory workers commuted to jobs. Families enjoyed weekend trips. The Model T became part of American culture. In 1908, Ford Motor Company introduced the first moving assembly line, revolutionizing car production. Before this, cars were built by hand, taking 12 hours. But with the assembly line, it took just 93 minutes. This made cars more affordable and accessible to the masses. Then came the Model T in 1908. For $260, it was the cheapest car of its time. Over 15 million were sold. It changed the world, connecting cities and rural areas. Families could travel, visit relatives, or drive to the store. The Model T symbolized freedom, progress, and opportunity. You might wonder why Ford named it Model T. Well, he liked simple things, and the letter T reminded him of his first quadricycle. Besides that, the number 10 represented perfection. Interestingly, the first Model T rolled off the assembly line on September. Add the digits 9, 10, and 8. You get 27. Divide 27 by 9. You get 3. The third letter of the alphabet is C. Model C. Get it? Okay. Ford loved this. Ford's factories became bustling hubs of activity. Thousands of workers assembled Model T parts with precision. They worked in teams, each focusing on a specific task. The atmosphere was lively, filled with camaraderie and purpose. It was a hive of industry. At Ford's Highland Park plant in Detroit, a worker could assemble an entire chassis in just 93 minutes. This level of efficiency was unheard of. They cranked out cars like magic, each one more perfect than the last. It was amazing to witness, but amidst this success, shadows lurked. Ford's beliefs and politics caused controversy. He was a teetotaler, an anti-unionist, and even published anti-Semitic articles. Despite this, his contributions to the world of cars cannot be ignored. After for decades at the helm, Ford retired in 1945. He passed away 2 years later, leaving behind a complex legacy. The media portrayed him in different ways, sometimes as a hero, sometimes as a villain. But one thing is certain: he changed the world forever. Henry Ford was a man ahead of his time. He pioneered the modern era of cars and mass production. He paid higher wages, introduced weekend breaks, and believed in worker safety. While he may have had flaws, his innovative spirit and ambition are timeless. He once said, "If you always do what you've always done, you'll always be what you've always been." Henry Ford was proof that one man's crazy dream can change the world. His story continues to inspire generations. What inspires you the most about Henry Ford's journey? Share your thoughts below. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.